Hey guys, Todd here, Center Valley Customs. Welcome back. So today, we got to do a little detective work. Yesterday, I finally legitimately drove this thing for the first time. I bolted the box down, set my coilovers, just tightened them down, got them all even. Went through, did a couple checks on everything, blah, 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 all that kind of thing, all that kind of good stuff. I drove it up to the local co-op to put fuel in it. Good news, my fuel gauge works. So it is off. It's like 1/8 of a tank off. So when it's full, it's reading like 7/8 of a tank, which is fine. So at least when we get low, we can fill up before we run out. But the bad. So I kind of suspected this, but when I did the intake, if you watch the intake video, I'll complain about when before I quit driving it, honestly, because it started popping and banging and like backfiring and whatnot. And I mean, nothing should have changed because I didn't really do anything to the motor, essentially, to change runnability or anything like that. So actually, after I put these headers on, I noticed that number 8 cylinder, the back header, and it's even still black now. So these are all the paint burned off, but the one back cylinder was still black, meaning it wasn't getting hot enough to, burn the paint off. So yesterday, I had it idling and I had a temperature gun and was shooting all the cylinders, all the pipes to see which ones are hot and cold. And cylinder number 8, of course, and cylinder 1, 3, 5, cylinder 5 were cold. So I think I got 2 dead cylinders. Whether that means no spark, no compression, sticky valves, whatever, I don't know. So today we're going to play detective and see if we can figure out what that is. First thing I got to do is I got a AN6 plug here, so I can take my fuel line off and plug it, so when we're turning it over doing compression tests, we're not pumping fuel into the carb. I'm also going to unplug my distributor. So I got my compression tester kind of already set up here. So first thing we'll do, unplug that, plug the fuel, pull all the plugs out. I'm just going to zip tie the wires temporarily to the header so I don't have to try to drag them all through. I'll probably grab a meter and check continuity for all my plug wires for 2 reasons. A, make sure I have continuity and make sure I'm getting spark. And B, make sure that I actually have them on the distributor correctly. Because I am human. I could have... Mixing up 5 and 8 is, I'm going to say, impossible, but I don't know. Maybe I got some crossed up somehow when I put the plug wires on. I kind of doubt it, but just for my own sanity, I'm going to check it. So that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to start prepping this for compression, to do a compression test, and then we'll see what that tells us. If anything, cylinder... let's see if I can. If anything, this is 1, 3, and actually 1, 3, and 5. These are, and this is 7. 7 actually. I don't know if you can really tell, but 7 looks different than the other 3. The other 3, these 3 look like they've been burning fairly decent. This one here looks like wet. Looks wet and looks like it wasn't firing. That one looks good. Ooh. That one, cylinder 1, looks super wet. all of these are like really wet around the... Is it just flooding and fouling? Huh. See, and that actually looks pretty good. It's not at all what I was expecting to see. Alright, I got them all out. That one looks good too, but it's wet. So, is it possible these are not the right plugs? Did I just flood the living crap out of it? Okay. Compression time. Alright, I got this in cylinder number 1, so you guys keep an eye on that. We're looking for a minimum of 300 psi. I'm just kidding, not really. But that'd be awesome. That'd be, I don't know that it would even turn over. Here we go. Well, what did we get? 125, okay? I don't think that's terrible. On to number 3. Here we go, fire in the hole. Cylinder number 2. Yeah. Or 3, I should say, is like call it 115. Kind of halfway in the middle. That's not great. Number 5. What? Like 130. I should see what the values are between here. 20, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 15, so 140. How is that one better than the other ones? Number 7. $120. All over the place. That's how you get the cam sound. Even though you don't have a cam, you just have a couple bad cylinders that don't make compression. That's a trick. All right, number 2. God, that starter sounds terrible. 125 on the dot. I don't know what this should be. I mean, as far as a stock motor, I have no idea what heads these are, nothing, none of that information. I would assume they should be like 150-ish. Okay, who knows? I know my Camaro, before I put heads on it, it was 180. But now I have 64 cc chamber heads versus like 76. So that should be much better. Should be, keyword. All right. Oh, that's good. Pour gas all over. Well, number 4. Another 120-ish. Number 6, calling it quits. $120-ish. Number 8, another suspected bad cylinder. Here we go. And 110. So they are down. That one's down for sure. So these are our final numbers. They say the mean, add them all up and divide them by 8, whatever. They should be within 10% of each other. And I know for a fact we're going to be outside of that. For sure. So I just did a little Google searching and whatnot on compression ratios or PSI, whatever. Compression that other people have done. And one person said a good, like a healthy big block stock compression is only 130 to 140 is like super healthy. And that would be, you know, close in this range. Now we're getting down to 110, 115. I would say that's getting unhealthy. One thing I didn't do, and I was reading, and then I saw it, and I was like, ah, crap. I forgot to do that, and I'm sure you guys at home are probably saying the same damn thing. I never opened the carb up. So I rigged up a spring here to open this carb up, to open the blades, obviously. I still have this tester on cylinder number 8. I'm just going to turn it over again and see if I get a different result. If I do, then maybe I'll go through them all again and do them all over again. But I don't know how that's going to make much of a difference, to be honest with you. But I'll turn the key again and we'll see if we get a better number. If we get a better number, maybe we'll go through and do them all over again. But I don't know. Stupid me. I should have thought about it. Well, it definitely turned over better, but we still only have about 100. Actually lost. It almost looks like we lost pressure. So we had like 110, now we got about 100. So I don't think that really makes a difference, to be honest with you. I'm sure it can, but in my case, I didn't get any better numbers. So I'm not going to waste my time and go through and do them all over again just to get the same results. Maybe I'll try a couple of these easy ones actually, but other than that, I'm not going to go through and do them all over again. Which one was, number 2 was 125. Let's try, what was 4? 4 was 120. So these are kind of all the same. Which one was, number 3 was down on this side. So let's try number 3 again. Alright, we'll try this one again, see what we get. Oh, I had so much compression it flipped it right over. That did get better actually. 1, 5, 10, almost 115. No, that's exactly what we had before. So that doesn't make a damn difference. Carb opener closed. Myth busted. Alright, that didn't do diddly, so I don't know. But when I was reading, I think I said earlier, I don't know, that they should be within 10%, and I lied, not 10%, 10 psi of each other. And majority of them we are, but we got that one. Cylinder 5 is just pumping the compression there. So I don't know why that one's so healthy and all the other ones are not great. I did overheat this one time, and is probably the biggest reason why I wanted a different radiator with an electric fan, because I had it running out back. It was idling. I think it was like in the springtime when I first started it up. I pulled it out of the garage and it was just sitting idling, and I went, I should say in the shed, pulled out of the shed and it was sitting and idling, and then I came into the garage for a little while doing something, and I went back out there and it was overheating and dumping water everywhere because it had a mechanical, them stupid flexi fans, which are complete garbage. They look cool, but they're garbage. And it wasn't pushing air, whatever. That's the biggest reason I wanted an electric fan on this truck. So yeah, that's that. I would suspect if I got a bad head gasket, it would have split between the two cylinders, so it would have pulled, you know, you'd have two cylinders side by side that are shot. That's not the case. That's just me, my theories. I don't know if that's true either. It could be, I don't know, just throwing theories around. But now I'm going to pull that super coil off of there, because you can't pull the plug wires off with the super coil on. Well, more or less you can't get them back on, I should say, with that coil on there. So I'm going to take that off. Maybe I should replace that too. Although I did pull a plug wire off of this at one time when it was still running, and it threw an arc about that big and got me, and I looked like the dude from Home Alone 2. My hair was all standing up, or that other guy that you see on the electrical poles, yeah, that was me. That's what happened. So I'm pretty sure that coil's not bad. But I'm going to pull that super coil off, or at least just loosen it up so I can get around it. And I got my checker here. I'm going to check continuity from end to end, which will tell me if my wires are good, which they should be because they're brand new. Unless I got one crimped terrible or something, I don't know. And just check to make sure that I got all the plug wires on the correct terminals over there. So just insanity check. That's pretty much what it's going to be, an insanity check. Best case Ontario, I got one mixed up, but I doubt it. So I don't know. Let's do some checking. Well, that wasn't the problem. Plug wires are all on like they're supposed to be, whatever. I did get my camera out, which is worst camera I've ever bought in my life. If you go to Harbor Freight, do not buy this one, which is the more expensive one. But check out what I just found. Oh, can you see that? This motor has been bored out, 30 over. which I did not know that at all. So that would be great if it ran good, but it doesn't run good. So I think what my plan is now, Odin, stop. I think what my plan is now is I'm going to pull these valve covers and I'm going to lash the valves. I don't know that I'm going to lash the valves tonight, but I am going to lash the valves. Just check them. I don't know. I'm pretty positive that's not the problem, but I have been in there once before, and there's a little saying that goes, if you didn't do it twice, you didn't do it right. So this is how much confidence I have in myself. Everything I've done, I second guess, and I go back and I do it again. So I'm going to pull these valve covers off. It's 14 bolts. And I can go through, lash them, check the preload, whatever. And just to make myself feel better. I just don't want to skip one thing because I'm lazy and turn around and that's the problem. So I'm sure it's not, like I said, whatever. But just to make myself feel good, I'm going to check them. I did kind of look at them when I had the valve covers off before, but I really didn't, I didn't turn the motor over and check them all. I just checked whatever ones were loose or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to pull these valve covers off and whatever, go through them. Looks like there's a lot of moisture in there. Ooh. Ooh. I don't know if that's just moisture or if that's coolant. And I clean these when I put different gaskets on. Although there doesn't look like there's any moisture in here, so. Then again. There is a little something on this side that concerns me. Down in this corner, it almost looks like metals. I'm worried that this thing is eating a cam, or if that's, I don't want to say normal, but normal. It's not on the other side, so I would assume that's probably not good. What I should do is I should somehow take a calipers or something and try to measure lift, and that would tell me if cam lobe's getting eaten or what the deal is. But I'm going to poke around in here for a little bit and see what I can see. So I did some poking around in here and nothing really stands out. I tried sticking my camera in there to see if I could see the cam lobes, and the ones that I could see, I'm just going to say I couldn't see any of them. I could see them, but they're either not on the high part of the cam. They'll be like on the base lobe or whatever. But there's this one over here that's kind of loose, but it wasn't on a cylinder that we had low compression on, or at least lowest compression on. But I did take these two rockers off so I could measure the lift of the push rod, and I measured like 272 thousandths, give or take a couple thou, I don't know. But so it doesn't have like a big cam. I think like a stock small block Chevy rocker ratio is 1.5. I don't know what big block Chevys are. It could be, I don't know, 1.6 maybe. I don't know. But it doesn't have any like stupid crazy high lift. Nothing like that. So it's probably just a stock cam. But I am going to set all the preload on all these just because, just to make myself feel better. I'll show you how to do the first one. People do this many different ways. You can do one cylinder at a time, which is what I generally do because, I don't know, I don't get confused and mixed up and do the wrong one, whatever. Other people will set the cylinder number 1 at top dead center, and then you can do certain ones, exhaust or intake on whatever, and then you can rotate it and get, I think it's number 6 to top dead center, and then you can do the other ones. Again, I don't like doing that because now you're doing random ones and you got to verify and make sure that you're on the right one and whatever. Other people, like Vice Grip Garage, Derek Beery, he will do no certain order. He'll more or less just start in a random place. He'll tighten them all up until they're tight, rotate it a quarter turn, do it again, rotate it a quarter turn, do it again, rotate it a quarter turn. I think he does that like 2 or 3 times, 2 or 3 rotations. I've heard of other people doing that. I don't know. I don't have any real reason why I don't. I should try it just because, but I prefer just to do one cylinder at a time. It does take longer because you got to turn the motor over so many times to get that cylinder at top dead center, blah, blah, blah. But for me, it's just easier to not lose track or whatever, which actually the way Derek does it, you can't lose track because you can't really screw it up. So maybe I should just try it that way just because. But then you got to go, I don't know. I'm just going to do it one cylinder at a time just because that's the way I've always done it and that's the way I want to do it. So I'm going to start with cylinder number 1. I already have it at top dead center. Shut up. And then, so these are like super loose. They're not tightened down at all. So I'm going to just tighten this down. I should get a I should get a long deep well. That's what I should do. So I'm going to go get a deep well socket quick. Okay. Start over. So as I'm tightening this down, I'm going to move this push rod up and down. Once the push rod gets a little bit of tension, and make sure you don't have your socket pushed all the way down, pushing the rocker down. You want to be just on the nut. So I'll just keep going. I'm actually probably going to go too much, and then I'll bring it back just a little bit. So I can move the push rod up and down. I want to get it just to the point where the push rod does not move anymore. Okay. Still go a little bit yet. And make sure you don't confuse up and down with side to side, because these do have push rod guides, and you can move this back and forth like this, but up and down you may not be able to. Maybe it helps to just hold the push or the rocker on the tip. Just hold it down so it's tight with the valve so it can't move side to side, and then try moving your push rod up and down. So that feels pretty good. So I'm going to do this other one quick. These ones are a little more difficult because you can't really get your hand in here. I'm just going to go a bunch because I know I got to go a bunch. Like I said, I had these nuts completely off. Okay, so now, that's actually not bad. I wish I could get my hand in here. That's pretty good. Okay, so now once you get that done, you go a half to 3/4 of a turn. So I'm going to go 3/4 of a turn. So I set my ratchet to where it's in a position I can keep track of. Go a half, come back, go a quarter. Okay, that's it. Wow, that's tight. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to go this way. Half. Get the mosquito out of your ear. Quarter. Okay, so that's that. Wow, those are solid. Okay, so now doing that, these all seem loose. So that's it. I'm gonna try to speed race through all these because we're supposed to have bad storms tomorrow during the day. So I'd prefer not to leave my garage door open while I'm in here because the truck's only halfway in. So at least I want to try to at least get the valve cover on, even if it's only a couple bolts, and then push my truck back outside. So I'm gonna race through these and get them done. New day. So yesterday I was getting eaten alive by mosquitoes, and I couldn't handle it anymore. So I ended up just pushing this out in the garage, or out of the garage, and gave up for the night. But today I just went through, set all the preload on all the rockers. So that's all done, and I wanted to show y'all something, because if I told you, you wouldn't believe me. I know how you people are. So you sit here. Remember, I guess I should probably tell you what we're going to look at. Remember number 3, 115, one of the worst cylinders we had? Check this out. Probably can't see it. I'll just show you when I'm done. That starter is not happy. My camera shut off as I was coming over here, but take a look at that. 125. So, what does that mean? Honestly, I don't know. Maybe I didn't have the compression tester screwed in the hole good enough when I checked it yesterday. But regardless, number 3 is now up to 125, along with a majority of the other ones. And to be completely honest, when I just did this before I, filmed it, it was actually higher than that. It was up like 130, 140. So some of it could be in the O-ring in that that compression tester, honestly. But I did number 8 again. It's still down. It's still crap. 100, 110. There's something with that cylinder that's just not happy. Whether that's rings, whether it's valve seats, whether I don't know. But it is what it is. I'm not going to be able to do anything about it at this point in time, and it's just going to have to stay like it is until the motor gets pulled out and we rebuild it. But I did do a little looking around. on the interwebs yesterday, just because I was curious. These heads are, what do they call it? Casting 336781. According to the interwebs, these heads are like the best open chamber heads you can get stock. Apparently with a little bit of work to them, bigger valves, they're actually pretty good, like street performance heads. Not like race, you know, performance, but street performance. I guess these heads are actually like the best open chamber ones you can get. So I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know. Quite honestly, if I rebuild this motor, I say this, but will it actually happen? I'd like to get aluminum heads, just for weight, and they're aluminum. So, but that time will come when that time comes, and we'll just see how much money I want to throw around. So, but I'm gonna start putting this thing back together. I got a timing light, different timing light, because my timing light is not a dial back. I say that. I had a timing light that I already had, and then I ended up with a dial back timing light. Somehow I think I bought something like a toolbox and it was in there, and I already had one, so I gave it to Travis. I said, here, I already got a timing light, take this, you can have this. And I needed it because my whatchamacallit, damper doesn't have the numbers on it. It just has a little tab with the notch in it, so you can't check all-in timing. You can only set initial. So my backfiring, maybe timing, maybe at initial idle it's good, but when you get it R'd up, maybe it's way too advanced or something. So I'll check that once I get this all back together, get the plugs back in, and get the carb hooked back up, get it running again, and see what it is. So let's get this put back together. Alright. Let's put them on the right way. How about that? Oh, I didn't have the carb open again. Remember that whole shenanigans? Doesn't make a difference. That myth was busted yesterday already. Alright, so I think I got everything hooked up. Plug wires are on, plugs are in, fan is plugged in, thermostat's plugged in, valve covers, distributors plugged in, fuel's on, no wrenches anywhere in here. So I think we're ready to fire it up and see if it sounds any different, any better or worse. So let's see what happens. Alright, let's see what we get. Might take a little bit to get fuel. I don't know. Find out. Well, went idle very good. And that may be because we have a ginormous vacuum leak, because I did everything else but then hook up the booster back to the carb. So that's probably why it was running like complete dog crap. So get that hook back up. I'm going to rig up this timing light. This cable is straight garbage. And then check all in timing and see what we got. I got to unhook the distributor and plug that too right away. So, well, now that I got my vacuum leak fixed, and couldn't find those plugs, vacuum plug things, so a fuel hose and a screwdriver do the same thing. So I got the distributor loose, got my timing light hooked up. Cannot get the signal down close enough to the header, so up there is going to have to work. Should be okay. So get this thing fired up. Should run better. It's probably going to idle a little high now because I idled it up, but get it fired up. Check timing. I'm going to probably throw 34 in it. Probably start with 34 degrees and see what we get. Hey, that sounds better. Well, it seems to be in the ballpark. It kind of jumps around, makes me wonder about that distributor I put in, but should be all right. Tighten this down, maybe take it for a drive. I don't expect any differences, but I don't know. Should hold it. Alright, plug my vacuum advance back in. Was trying to see if I could see if like fuel was just dripping in, if the carb was dirty, or I don't know. Temperatures all come out fairly close. Besides for that back one, obviously is cold. Well, 100 degrees cold. So I'm going to put the air cleaner back on, get the tools out, take it for a drive, and see if it's any better. I doubt it. Well, got all the tools and everything out, got it all buttoned up, and it's raining. Yep, but I'm still going to go for it. I don't care. I'm just going to go down the road and back. Probably going to run terrible anyway, so I don't care. Well, I don't know. It's not running terrible, but could be much better. Still up in the higher RPM. It feels like it's backfiring, or maybe it's not getting enough fuel. I kind of am skeptical about my fuel pump because on my gauge, when I put the fuel pump in, I set it for 7 psi. Now it's like 4 and I can't get any more out of it, so I'm kind of worried that either that fuel pump took a crap and it's barely pumping, or that regulator is, I don't know, not right, I don't know, or the push rod ate my cam lobe. I hope that is not the case, but I don't know. I mean, it's running okay. I said it kind of like gets this backfire-y sound. I don't know. I'm gonna drive it a little bit and see how it goes. Definitely noisy in the cab. Yeah, glad I didn't get the Flowmaster Super 44s I was gonna get, because they would have been louder than these, and this is loud enough. Definitely loud enough. I usually do donuts right here, but not today. I don't even know if we can break the tires loose. Not gonna try. I want to make it back before it starts raining. This thing cruises nice now with this suspension, and when I would drive this before, everything was loose. Man, it sounded like driving a dump truck. Everything was rattling and sounds like things that'll fall apart. Now it is quiet as can be. I mean, besides the exhaust, but other than that, this thing rides awesome. Back is a little stiff, that's for sure. Probably gonna need lighter springs, but it is what it is. All right, I'm gonna get this thing home. Well, made her back, just in time, but it don't run right. I don't know, something's not right with it. I don't know what it is, what to do. I really don't know. We got problems. So it's probably 3 or 4 days since I worked on this, and I was editing the video. I got the video all edited, ready to go, whatever. I was watching it again, and I noticed that when I did the compression test again for cylinder number 3, after I set all the preloads and all the valves, they're on the lifters, whatever, I noticed that cylinder number 7 exhaust valve wasn't opening very far. And then I was kind of thinking, well, maybe the lifter is just not pumped up, and blah, blah, blah. So today, behind the scenes a little bit here, I finally got my Camaro out, and I robbed the 750. I took this off, and I robbed the 750 double pumper brawler off of that and put on here. And in all honesty, that carburetor is too big for that car in the first place. So anyway, I robbed that, stuck it on, thought, well, maybe that lifter's just not pumped up and it's still a carb issue. Ran it, still runs like garbage. So I was doing some, I've seen people do it before where they set the preload on the valves while it's running. And actually, I think that's probably the best way to do it. But whatever, as you're running, you loosen them up until they start clattering, tighten them up till it stops clattering, and then give it 1/2 to 3/4 of a turn, whatever. So I decided I was going to try that. Well, cylinder number 7, exhaust valve, no bueno. So I'll show you. I was kind of curious actually how many other people caught that in the video. I noticed it actually like right away. I was like, that valve's not opening. That's weird. So I'll run it, show you, and So this guy right here is not happy. Nothing I do or can do gets it any better. So nothing I can do to make that any better. I'm guessing that cam lobe's gone. Which really, really, really sucks. I dumped all this time, effort, money into getting all the suspension perfect, and now this motor's got to come out for the most part. I could probably replace the cam, throw a different cam in it and lifters while it's still in the truck, but what about everything else? At this point, it's just a big unknown, and I already did a little bit of research on, like, if I'm going to put a cam in this, I'm going to get a roller cam because I don't want a flat tap it and just do this again. But roller cam kit from Comp is like $1,400. Then you got to get the heads looked at. Then it's probably got to be bored. Then if it gets bored, I need new pistons. Then I got to put bearings in it. And it's just downhill frickin', I don't know. I don't know what to do. Like I said, I have this 5.3 here, but even with that, I don't have any accessories before I don't have any accessories but a water pump. I need to get a DOD delete cam, delete the VVT. A wiring harness alone is $1,000. Then I need a computer. I don't even know what to do or think or say or anything right now. So I don't know. Comment below. What do you think I should do? Pull the big block out and shove a whole shit ton of money into it? Or do I build this 5.3, throw that in there? Do I find a 6-liter LS, throw that in there? I don't know. Comment below. I'm just extremely frustrated right now. So I'm gonna put this back together, go get my Camaro washed, throw $100 worth of race gas in it, beat the dog piss out of it, and then probably come back and have some adult beverages and do some thinking. So I don't know. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I don't know what we'll be doing next week. I had plans of doing something that I actually already kind of started, but now there's really no point in even working on this anymore unless it's pull the motor out, which I'm not looking forward to. So I don't know. I appreciate watching. Catch you on the next one.